Good morning. I start off my day with some meditation first thing. I really like doing this because it helps me to stay grounded and to keep my anxiety at bay. I follow with a glass of water and then start getting ready for the day. I feel like it helps me feel more put together, and then afterwards, I just open the windows to get some light in. At this point, I start on mom duty and get my daughter ready for daycare. And then once she's sorted out and her dad brings her to daycare, I start on my breakfast. And our breakfast, actually, I always make our breakfast together. And I really like having warm oatmeal in the morning because it's just so satisfying, especially during the cold days. I love adding some fresh fruits. Usually it's berries, sometimes it's apples and bananas. And I also like putting a lot of different kinds of toppings in there, something to add some texture, some crunch. Otherwise, the oatmeal is a bit just one textured. And usually during this time, I also listen to a podcast playing while I'm doing this because it does take a little bit of time. So I like to listen to something inspiring, something motivating, something that will set me up well in the morning. Sometimes I also have a YouTube video on there, something that will help me set me up for the day. And it just makes the process a lot more enjoyable. I usually am the one who's preparing or cooking our breakfast in the mornings. I really love breakfast, so I really like doing this, and then I can also choose which breakfast we're going to have for the day. My husband doesn't really care, so. So after I'm done having my breakfast, I head upstairs to switch on my laptop, log in, check some emails, see if there's anything urgent that I need. I also look into my bullet journal, my planner to see what tasks I want to or need to prioritize that day. It just really helps me to stay organized and to know what exactly I need to focus on. After I've planned and checked my emails and replied to any if there's any, I head downstairs and get my first cup of coffee. I don't like taking coffee first thing in the morning because I read somewhere that it's actually not good for your body, so I do try to do this a little bit later, maybe at like 9:30 or 10 or 10:30 even. And I really enjoy this first cup of coffee. It's just so satisfying. I really try to relish it, and there's something about drinking a warm cup of coffee and then starting work. So now I properly start on my first task of the day. I usually like doing the most difficult and biggest tasks first thing just to get it out of the way, and because I found that this is the most focused I am on a day. So I like having those first done. And then afterwards, when I don't have as much energy, I can do the rest of my tasks. I just basically continue on with the tasks, or if I have any meetings, then I do the meetings as well. So all meetings and all tasks done for the whole morning, and then it's off to lunch. I actually usually already have my lunch because I do meal prepping, so my lunches and dinners are usually already made beforehand. But on this day, I did need some time to cook my food, and there are days like this when I do need to cook my food sometimes. If I don't need to cook my food, then I just directly heat up my lunch and then have my food. And otherwise, if I have some extra time, I will try to do some small things around the house, like load up the dishwasher, tidy up a little bit, maybe clean the floors or something. Just something quick that I can do during my lunch break. Of course, there are also days when I don't take as long of a break and then I do need to directly go back to work, or I do eat at my desk, depending on how busy it is in the day. I try not to do this to have a really proper break. So after I'm done with my lunch, I go back to work. I also like getting some steps in, so I do try to go outside even for just a few minutes, or when there's a casual catch up or call, then I can take it outside. I just work the rest of the afternoon, have some meetings, do some calls, and once I'm done, then I start with our dinner prep. So once everything is finished, I check if there's anything urgent left, if there's anything else that I need to wrap up or anything, and then I tackle those if there are any. And I also have a look at my agenda for tomorrow, like is there anything urgent, what needs to be tackled, what does my day look like, how can I plan around that day, just so that I'm like mentally prepared to face next day, let's say. And I close everything down, and either I go pick up my daughter from daycare, and then we start our whole evening dinner, evening routine and things like that, or that my husband picks her up and then I start our dinner, and then they come home and we start having dinner together, spending some time together, doing her whole night routine. And then once we put her back to bed, then we clean up everything, tidy up everything that we need to tidy up, do anything else that we need to do. Maybe if I need something still at work, then I will still open my laptop and check anything that needs to get done if I wasn't able to do everything. So yeah, that's basically it. After that, we just relax, have some time together, watch some TV, and then I usually read a book before going to bed and then fall asleep. So yeah, I hope that was interesting for you, anybody who's trying to figure out how to manage working from home, having a little baby, having a toddler, I should say, and trying to get things done in the house. And it's not easy, obviously. Not every day is the same, and there are days that are easier than others. There are days when I'm just literally just at my computer the whole day. There are days when it's lighter, so it's really depending a bit on the time. What's most important for me is that I know that I'm getting enough time for most important things. So we have a lot of things that we're juggling, and it's not always going to be 50-50 or 20-20-20 or whatever. But yeah, we do need to make some compromises. We need to make some decisions on what takes priority today, what takes priority tomorrow or this week or next week, and just go from there. It's just depending on what you prioritize and what you need at the moment. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!